it was like a rule.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
I have to tell you a tale out of school. When they were doing the trivia quiz backstage, she was participating. She was back there going,
I was like, come on, everybody, look at me. I know the right answers.
I think you have a slight advantage over everyone else.
Okay, well, you know, at least I tried.
Yeah. So tell me, take me back to the beginning. What sort of environment did you grow up in? Obviously, it was not in the U.S.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about how you got from there to here. You're playing this kind of quintessentially American character, although with pretty awesome powers.
Yeah, weird child, you know. I sing a lot, I dance a lot, I'm not very good at it. So when we finally moved to America, I just kind of embraced that, and then I got here.
Mm-hmm. What was your audition like?
It was, you know, it was complicated because I auditioned multiple times. I auditioned once, and then I auditioned by myself. I done a scene with Mike, like not actually with him, with my dad. And then I auditioned on tape. I Skyped with the Duffers, and then I flew to LA and I actually met Finn and the Duffers, and then I found I had cut all this off, and then I got the job.
What kind of material did you have to do? Was it just a regular scene where you're talking, or were you like trying to bend spoons?
Hold on, 11 talking?
Yeah,
That's
no. I'm trying to picture you like staring menacingly, or...
No, I didn't actually have to stare. I cried a lot in the audition. All I said was, it's behind you! And that was it. So I was like, oh, that's great, you know. And then, you know, I kind of just went along with the script. I didn't get a lot. I was just, the others were like, you know, you want to cut your hair off, your name is 11, and relate yourself to E.T. Hold on. Give me just a second, you know? So then I gathered all that information up, and then I just performed, and I really enjoyed playing 11, but the audition process was, you know, it was difficult because I had to find 11.
Right.
It was like, I didn't really know what her look was, I didn't know, you know, what she was like. She was vulnerable, but then she was like, and I was like, okay, you know? She's kind of evil as well, so, you know, you got to kind of combine them two.
Talk to me a little bit more about finding 11. Like, what sorts of things did you do physically, like with your voice, with your face, or posture, those kinds of things? Did you have certain particular things where, like, I should do this and this?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it was more like because I was, you know, shooting so much. When we was on set, I would stand there and like think of stuff. I'd be like, I just don't know what to do, and then I was like, I know what to do to click someone's neck, like to break someone's neck. I got it, and Matt was like, don't ever say that again.
Mr. David Harbour. Thank you very much. So we were talking about auditions and about finding the character. Do you remember, was there a particular scene that you auditioned with? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I auditioned with that first Joyce Hopper scene. Yeah, and it was just a quick tape, and we just did that scene a couple times. And I remember wearing I wore a hat to the audition, and I normally never do that, but I thought that this guy was like a guy who kind of likes to hide. And so I wore the hat, and even the casting director, Carmen Cuba, was like, you want to do one without the hat, Nick? And I was like, no, I'm good.
So tell me about the first time that you saw Millie in this 11 full regalia.
I actually saw Millie's audition tape.
What was that like?
Yeah.
You knew that I saw it?
I did. I think everybody kind of saw it. Like, I didn't realize it went out to everyone. Because I was, like, I'm like the cry, like, I'm like, in the whole audition. Like, it's
a pretty good audition. It's a pretty good audition.
It was like,
but yeah, I met Millie at the table read, and you didn't have your head shaved then, right?
no, I did.
You
It was actually that day. Yeah.
Really?
I got it done, and I was in the audition because in the table read, you know how I didn't have any lines. So all I said was like, no, yes, Papa, yeah, and then so I did. So that day, you know when it just like well, nobody probably knows, but for me, when you get your hair cut, it gets everywhere, and I was wearing my fluffy pajamas, and it got everywhere, and I was literally like this the whole read through. I was like, it's everywhere. The hair was just everywhere, so it wasn't, everybody was like saying their lines, and I'd have to say like, ugh, no. So that was really it for me.
When you're doing the telekinetic scenes, are you just make telekinetic face, or are you picturing a particular thing or feeling a particular thing?
Yeah, well, you see, I didn't really know how I got the face. It was just like, I got to be crazy. I got to kind of look like a child, but like scary.
Right.
So then I was like, I know what to do. And then when I'd done it, everybody was like, that's the 11 face. And then the whole thing, we would do the scenes and did I? Oh, I did. I did have scenes with you. But I never used my powers with you, did I?
With me?
Yeah, did I?
No, we're just in the bathtub scene.
Oh yeah, that was hard.
Yeah, that was a tough.
That was hard because I started getting dizzy. I was like, wow, there's a lot of salt in here. But then, like, when we done the crying scene and everybody was just kind of sitting there, like, cut, and we was like, all right, let's go for lunch. So that was a really, really fun scene. I think for everyone to work together for the first time.
What's it like being on the set when you're shooting these scenes where you're doing, psychokinetic mind violence to people? Is it are they bouncing people off trampolines? Are they on harnesses? What is it? Oh, it's worse apparently.
They just have sort of blood come out of their eyes, don't they?
Yeah.
What happens to
No, it was
that?
actually really fun because it was just when I done it because I got to like fling people around the room. It was really fun for me to watch. Because all I had.
Yeah, what did they do when those guys in the hallway? Did they like pull them on a rope or something?
What guys? There's a lot of guys.
When you're like running down the hallway and you're like, bah, 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 and then you snap the guy.
Oh
and
yeah,
shake
that was
back.
really fun. Because so that day I was like, and they was like, oh, and then they went back, and I just walked in on set, my fluffy pajamas on again, and this guy's just hanging out the wall. And I'm like, oh wow, that's good. He was like, and his blood was coming everywhere. It was so much fun.
So how do they time the nosebleeds? Do you have like a nosebleed wrangler? Do you do that yourself? Or?
It's so hard because we'd really load it up. And then when I'd have to say to the duffers, okay, I'll call action. It's coming. It's coming. I feel it. All right, action. And it just comes. I'd be like, yes. My timing is so good.
So this television series owes quite a bit to some of the classics of science fiction and fantasy from the 80s, the decade it's set in. Tell me a little bit about your relationship to that popular culture as somebody who
Me?
probably watching it during that time, and then
Yeah.
and then how much exposure did you have to it? Did they put you through a research phase where they hand you a stack of DVDs, or?
It's really nice having these, like Winona and David and Matthew Modine to kind of help me transform into the 80s, because I was just like, why don't we just call Will on the phone? What is so hard about it? And everybody's like, no, Millie, we don't have phones. So I kind of realized stuff like that, and then I really like it now. I really want to live back in the 80s.
It wasn't as good as it is in Stranger Things.
If you got lost on the way to somebody's house, you had to find a payphone and call them.
Yeah, you actually had to show up on time to places too. Like now you just text people that you're late, or you just text people like, oh, I want to go here. But like, you used to have to show up on time, or you had to call the restaurant. Like, be like, tell this, person that I'm going to be late. That was crazy times. I don't know how I survived it.
I love everything except there is like really not good internet. What am I gonna do without internet? I can't go on Snapchat. I can't go on Instagram. What is happening?
I have a son who's exactly your age, and I was trying to tell him what it was like to watch television when I was 12, 13. And the idea that you had to be in a place, you had to be in a certain place at a certain time to watch a show, and if you missed it, you had to wait 6 months. He stared at me like I'd grown up during the firebombing of Dresden. It was unbelievable.
You know what I remember is when I was a kid, Michael Jackson's Thriller video came out on MTV. Woo! And it was like the extended version. Yes, Vincent Price, and it was like an event. Like all my friends gathered around the TV. We waited for like an hour, and then it came on, and it blew my mind. That kind of event television doesn't happen anymore. And like I remember like the Cosby Show, and you think about the numbers, like 40 million people on a Thursday night stayed home and watched the finale of the Cosby Show. I mean, that's crazy that 40 million people were in their living rooms watching it. We just don't watch TV that way.
I can relate to you. This is how I feel about Vampire Diaries.
You love Vampire Diaries?
God, don't even
Oh my
start.
God! I didn't know that. You're buddies with Paul, right?
No.
Oh yeah. He's gonna be in Atlanta when we're shooting.
Oh my.
Uh-oh.
That's awesome.
If I'm back in Atlanta.
They grow up so fast.
So, about Stranger Things. When you shoot...
We're the Vampire Diaries. Super dorky. I mean, it doesn't look the way it does in the actual show. In the show, it's amazing and beautiful, and it's got all these things. But on the actual set, it's really silly. Like, there's a bunch of purple, like, piping that looks really fake, and it pulsates, too. So it sounds like you're in a bad haunted house. Like, it kind of goes like... And then for the spores, they have a dude with a big old pillowcase full of like dandelion things, and they have a big fan, and so you'd be walking down the hallway like with the gun, like what the hell's going on? And then this guy is like standing there, like trying to be all intense. Oh Jesus!
That sounds like so much fun. No, because
Coffee.
Coffee. It's all he ever drinks. The pictures I take of you, you're just always like...
I know, I have like a love it.
Well, I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Next question.
tell me about the creature.
Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon, yes.
It's a guy in a puppet.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Mark.
a guy in a suit.
His name is Mark.
His name's Mark. He's really tall. He's really nice.
He's really thin too, right?
Yeah, very.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, his name's Mark. He has a lot of green dots on him, and he can't hear when he has the costume on. So we was doing a scene, and he was eating this egg, and I had to be like, touch him and then run away and start crying. And so that happened, and when I touched him, he couldn't feel my touch, right? So the duffers was shouting out, Mark! And he was just eating this egg. And I was like, Mark! Mark! And he wasn't listening, so that took a really long time. So we had to get someone on his feet to like pinch him.
Pinching as a cue?
Yeah, to be like,
My only interaction with the monster is like because I didn't shoot anything with the monster, so I would see him though when we were like between scenes or something, and the only interaction I had with Mark was seeing him like strapped up like this with a ton of fans, like blowing into all his armpits and everything, and this big old suit. It was the least scary thing I've ever seen. Maybe the most scary.
Because he had an entourage. And the thing is so I have a baby sister, and there's 2 little toddlers on the show, right? And Tinsley and Aniston, and obviously when the monster comes on, everybody's like, oh. So, I love how we call him the monster. And so everybody comes on, and the producers actually had to tell the 2 toddlers, it's only a monster from Monsters, Inc. And they were like, okay. And now, like, my sister is like, Mark! So it's totally fine. It's really fun when you have, like, a monster on set.
Do you carry your characters home with you in any way? Do you think about them after you're done shooting, or is it just leave it on the set?
I mean, I think Millie's much more professional than I am in this way. I do carry home. I mean, you know, everyone was very admiring of your ability to. Wow. Oh my God. I was gonna make it so much more than that. The craft, the art, yeah, no, for me, I mean, I don't get, you know, I don't do the Jared Leto stuff of like sending dead pigs to people and stuff. But I do have a particular brand of method to what I do, which just means that I like the experience that I have to be authentic and personal. And so for me, that can't happen unless I sort of carry it around a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Atlanta shooting was a very difficult experience because Hop is a very like lonely sort of sad guy, and so I definitely carried that away. And Atlanta's an easy place to be sad and lonely. At least for myself.
We got very easy. Yeah.
Very easy to.
You're 20 minutes out. It's a great family place.
But it was, you know, I would just go home a lot and like sit in my apartment and smoke cigarettes and dread the days. So it was really good for the character. Like it was really, you know, and I'm at a point in my life where the work is so important to me, mm-hmm. and it's sort of more important than my personal life in certain ways. Like I've always just wanted to act and to create, and so. When you get a chance to do that, it's like training for a marathon or something. It's like, why not just do it full out? And so that's how I like to work.
Were there any particular yes?
I'm not as professional. I just say no and Papa. So I'm not me at all. But you're very, you know, your character's very sad and lonely. But you like coffee.
That's a happy thing.
No, but like that's what you kind of relate to with your, you know, Flo, get me my coffee.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you say when you go into the office.
I'll be saying that till the day I die. It's gonna be my catchphrase in like everything I do.
But you have us. He came over with dinner for a pot roast.
Oh yeah, that was sweet. That was like the nicest day I had in Atlanta. Thank you. Like the only nice day I had. Thanks, Millie.
That is so sad.
But also, like, it's funny, you know, people, because, like, we didn't have that much interaction, but, you know, people ask about working with the kids and stuff. And, like, I remember the first big day I had with the kids was in the school where I tell them that they're not to go looking for Will. And, you know, do I make myself clear, that whole scene? Mm-hmm. And I remember that day, you know, taking sort of the risk because they're kids and they're super charming and they're super, like, fun and nice and they're all bouncing around and stuff. But I was like, get my chair away from them, and like I don't want to talk to them, and I definitely, you know, wanted to preserve that feeling of intimidation, which now has been completely dissolved. I was going to say, at that time they thought I was kind of an angry, weird dude, and I was like, that's okay, I can live with that. I like that.
I agree. We kind of did. He sat there and he was just like. You know, he doesn't like me growing up. He's like, and like we're very, you know, we're very close now. So, you know, it's kind of, this should be a movie about making a show. You know, David Harbour, sad, lonely guy.
Angry and weird. Sad, lonely, angry and weird.
And then he just turns out to be like this lovable person with a ton of friends that are kids.
Best friend with a bunch of kids. Oh, God.
Next question.
Well, I was gonna ask what sorts of relationships the actors had when the cameras weren't rolling, but I think that question has been asked and answered. You obviously all get along really well, huh?
Wait, we done a talent show?
The talent show? You mean your little sister?
Yeah, my baby sister
Yeah.
hosted a talent show.
I couldn't
on
get
set.
tickets, though.
No, you couldn't. Because Winona and her boyfriend all sat and we all watched, my sister. What did she do? She juggled? No, you helped her juggle.
She tried to sing at one point too. I know at first I couldn't get a ticket to the talent. She would
Yeah.
walk around and pass out tickets to her talent show. And then when she got to me, she ran out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I eventually came in and helped her juggle. I think
Yeah, you
she
helped
let
her
it
juggle
go.
and
She
she-
doesn't hold a grudge.
So that's what we did after a set. And, it was really fun.
A bunch of kids off in the woods in what, Atlanta, outside of Atlanta. Were you near the Walking Dead people?
Oh my god, I would have died if I met anybody from there.
Yeah.
I met,
You met Chris Pratt and those guys when they were doing Passengers, right? Didn't you guys move? You didn't? Oh, sorry. Whoops. I guess I'm confusing you with Gaten.
I'm out. No, I went to the set of Alexandria. Am I right? Oh my god. I was like, I had my pink wig on because I couldn't show that I had like officially cut all my hair off. So I had this pink wig on. Everybody thought I was a freak. And I walked around and I was literally buying everything from The Walking Dead. I was like, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. Oh my god, that's a stone. That was in the show. So yeah, I'm a really big fan. And when I went, obviously shout out if anybody wants to take me to The Walking Dead set. I'm okay with it.
You'll probably have some takers, I would think.
Yeah.
So let's open up the floor for some questions. I believe that we have microphone wranglers. There we go, there's one. I love it.
I think I might dress up as Bopper.
Okay.
I'm gonna be Barb. Just out of sheer Harbour
I
guilt.
will give that to you. Justice for but I agree.
Well, that's... Hi, I'm Joe from New Jersey.
Alright.
Quick question. Will we ever get justice for Barb?
You want to take it home?
Yeah, we can't. We do know a little bit about season 2, but we're not going to tell you anything. But we will tell you that we do deal with the loose ends that in season 2, and we do deal with some of the internet rage over Barb's death. So we will have justice for Barb in some sense. But those of you that are wishing that Barb somehow magically comes back to the show, I can assure you that Barb is very much dead.
God, I was gonna just say, if you guys want her back, get on Twitter, tag her, and just pause.
Did the Barb thing catch you by surprise?
Totally by
Yeah.
surprise.
Barb thing, yeah.
Actually, because she didn't. We was at the read-through, and she was like, "Guys, I don't want to die." I do. I was like, Duffus, you want to take this? And they was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna die." And then episode 4 came. And we was literally ready. She was standing there, just like, she was reading it. She was like, the Demogorgon! And we was like, oops. Yeah. So it was actually quite sad, but.
I mean, one thing I will say about Barb, though, that I wasn't surprised. Like, I was very, she has such a unique look, and like that haircut and her body and the whole thing is just so like great, and it's so of the time with the mom jeans and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, I just thought like aesthetically and production value, it was extraordinary. And then the fact that like Shannon gives a great performance, so. Like, I'm very surprised by the response to it, but I think it's like well deserved. Because I think it's as iconic as any of us in the show. It's as iconic.
Because like, I have that look, and then Barb has the look. Does anybody know the look? She goes like, have you seen it? She's like, oh, are you and Steve going out tonight?
Okay, next question.
Hi, my name is Matt from New Jersey. While watching the show, it looks like every character was introduced as one way, but then grew and changed and went almost in a completely different direction. For example, Harbour comes in and he says, mornings are for coffee and contemplation, right? And you think he's just gonna be laid back, lazy, not really do a great job, but then it turns out he knows way more than anyone who's just a cop should. So what was it like to kind of portray your characters one way and then develop as the show goes on and really have your characters grow in a real nice direction?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's an extraordinary opportunity. Like, I think the writing was so three-dimensional. One of the things I love about Hopper is oftentimes you'll see when a character gets introduced, like you see that thing with him and his daughter, and then you see him being drunk on the couch and hungover, and so you know there's some kind of like loss or some kind of damage there, right? But instead of having him be sad or angry even, he's a little angry, but he's sarcastic, he's funny, he doesn't give a shit, he's like, you know, and I love that dimension to the character because with that, one of the things I love most about the tweets about the show are people that watch the show and kind of live tweet as they're watching it, and people in episode 1 are like, this Chief Hopper guy sucks. I hate this Chief Hopper. Why does everybody like Chief Hopper? I hate him. Episode 2, and then by episode 4 or 5, they're like, if Chief Hopper dies, I'm suing Netflix.
That is amazing.
So it's great to go on that journey. I mean,
Were there any particular actors that you had in the back of your mind as you were playing that part?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I like so many of those guys in the late 70s and early 80s that I grew up with and that sort of taught me what it was to be a man, like, and what it was to struggle with the ideas of masculinity, and softness and hardness and damage and all those things. So it was like Jack Nicholson in 5 Easy Pieces. It was like a big inspiration. Yeah, look at that. And then, of course, then you have the other element of the swashbucklingness of like the Harrison Ford and the Indiana Jones and things like that. Yeah. Which, you know, like, I love those. So, and then even like guys like Gene Hackman, Roy Scheider, like Nick Nolte, like these guys that I feel like of an earlier time were less put together, you know, they were less handsome, they were a bit more beat up. Yeah. And I fit very well in that category.
All right, next question.
Hi, I'm Lauren from Plainfield, New Jersey.
Woo, Plainfield.
My question is for both David and Millie. David, can you adopt me? Millie, can I adopt you? And who falls asleep most on set?
Falls asleep most on set?
You know, it's quite, you know, I would knock on your trailer and no one would answer. Because you drink so much coffee, but I feel like even so much coffee that it's actually like making you fall asleep.
Yeah, it puts me asleep now.
So what? It's all downhill from here. So what drink actually wakes you up?
What's that?
What drink actually wakes you up?
Tequila.
Non-alcoholic beverage, what wakes you up?
No, you know, wait, I want to talk about the daddy thing for a second. There's two versions of this, all right? And I get them confused very much, Plainfield, New Jersey. So one of them is like you're an attractive older man, and then the other is dad. And then the things on Twitter, whatever, people are like, how dad? Like I'm the dumb parent who's driving you to the movies.
When she said, so what drink actually wakes you up, I asked, like I whispered tequila and then you said tequila.
You are my daughter. I found
I'm sorry, I have really good parents, and also Aaron Paul is my fake adopted parents at the moment. I'm sorry.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Sonia from Staten Island. This is more of a question for David, where the science teacher in the show is so great, but how...
I love him so much.
Yeah. I mean, how appropriate is it for his kids to call him in the middle of the night going like, how do I build this? Like, a sound barrier, and he thinks it's totally normal.
Can I just just say it was the 80s.
I love that scene so much because what's so amazing is he's on this like hot date with this like cute girl. They're like watching a movie, and then there's a picture of him where like I posted this meme or something where he's on the phone with the kids, and he looks more excited and turned on talking about how to build a deprivation tank than he ever was with that girl. And it says hashtag Teacher of the Year. Oh, he's so good.
All right, next question.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Congratulations on making the most bingeable show on.
Thank you.
My question's actually for Millie. I was a huge fan of The Intruders.
Yeah.
Did you know what you were saying on that show, or
No.
did they keep you really separate from it?
No, I didn't know what I was saying. See, I just read my lines and I was like, Ave Verum Corpus, Mozart composed it, and I just kind of rambled. And I didn't know what I was talking about. I kind of didn't do anything with my face. And Glenn Morgan was just like, you don't need to know what you're saying, just say it. And then I said it, and it's a pretty good show. You guys should watch it.
Okay, next question.
Hi, my name is Antoinette from Poughkeepsie, New York, and
Wait, is it Pepsi? Sorry.
I actually had something about The Intruders too. So obviously in The Intruders you play a character who's also kind of like 11, like kind of stoic and really weird.
Possessed by an 80-year-old man.
Right. So do you ever like want to do a role that's not super creepy?
I would love to. You see, I'm quite funny. And what do you say about that, David? Do you think I'm quite funny? I think I'm quite funny.
I think you're quite funny.
Thank you. So,
If you could just overcome your confidence issues.
I'd love to do like a comedy. I go for so many comedies. I went for The Boss with Melissa McCarthy, and I'm just not that child. I'm just like,
No, you need to
Always
play the
evil,
boss
but then-
in the boss movie. You can't.
oh, I like what you did there. I like what you did there.
We'll make that.
So no, but yeah, I'd love to do a project where I'm funny. Have you done a comedy? Oh, that was just a question.
I mean, I've been funny and stuff. Unintentionally.
Yeah, no, Hopper, you actually.
I thought that The Newsroom was a comedy, but no one else did. I always thought it was like Ron Burgundy, like Anchorman. So I always tried to play like state class.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I wanted to grow a mustache and be a real idiot, but Aaron Sorkin like doesn't let anyone be stupid on his shows. So that was a big fight that I lost.
Thank you so much.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Matthew from Long Island.
Long Island.
Recently my mom actually passed away from breast cancer, so watching your character lose his daughter to cancer just like completely reopened that wound. It was painful to watch, and just seeing then after that just watching Hopper care for these children like they were his own. Did you have any personal loss that helped you with your character?
I mean, for me, I work in a lot of metaphor, and a lot of personal stuff that may not directly relate, but hopefully relates in idea or in feeling. I've never, I've lost a grandmother and I lost a cousin to a driving accident when he was 19, but I've never had a loss of a daughter or like a loss of a parent yet. But the one thing that was very interesting to me and that I kind of stumbled upon was that I feel like with the loss of a daughter like that, I just feel like he is truly broken in a way that almost cannot be healed. And that the only real, the guilt that he feels about not being able to save his daughter, which we may get into in season 2 in terms of like what that cancer was about and kind of where it came from and a little more complexity around that situation. But that that in a certain way, he has so much guilt because he's so used to saving people or used to good guys and bad guys, and finally he puts himself in a situation where it's just life. I mean, there's just nothing you can do, and I think that he takes that on himself and carries it on his shoulders as a result of guilt. So I have a lot of guilt in my life and a lot of regret. So that was a lot of what I used to get there. But I'm very sorry for your loss, and I hope that that experience opening you up was a good one ultimately, because you know, I think I have a lot of, you know, it's you know, it's obviously an extremely complicated thing that we deal with in the show, and it's always good to hear when people are moved by it in a good way.
It must be quite an extraordinary thing when you're on set. You don't necessarily, you may have an idea that if the material is good or not, but you don't know if it's really working until you see it.
Yeah.
And then you see it, and not only do you know that it's working, but people tell you stories like the one that Nick's heard.
Yeah, I mean...
Do you get a lot of that kind of thing?
I do, yeah. And
what sorts of things?
I mean, one of the greatest things about this whole experience has been people touch people and move them and open their hearts and make them possibly experience empathy in a deeper way for other people, for other human beings, and to unite us and make us not feel so alone. And so that to me has been the greatest gift of this experience. Barb.
Getting touched by, you know, our performance, and it's really, really rewarding. You know?
What do people say to you about your character and about your performance? What sorts of personal stories do they relate to you?
Mostly, you know, I think it's awesome to have short hair and to still embrace it, and you know, you can, you know, rock it. So for, you know, for people who just have short hair and who have illnesses, to really embrace that you have short hair and you can still rock it. So, and we have a lot of inspirations in our show, you know. We have Gaten, who has cleidocranial dysplasia, and you know, he inspires a lot of people, so it's really, really nice to...
And we have me, who's wildly out of shape.
It's so horrible. You look great.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm from Vogelsville, PA. And
You're doing it now.
My sister asks, what is your favorite and least favorite part about playing your character?
The least?
Yeah.
The least?
Like, the best part and, like, yeah, the best part about playing your character.
Oh, the best, okay. I think I'm right.
What's most fun and what's the part where you're like, oh god?
I like my character. She uses her powers quite a lot. I mean, and also like, she's got to talk a bit more. She's just got to, you know, like she sits there and she's just sitting there like, yeah, it's really fun. What about you, David Harbour?
I think it's one and the same. It's like the best part and the worst part are the same thing. It's like going to these dark places of loneliness, sadness, brokenness, and you know, it's so horrible when you actually experience it, and also it's so wonderful to be able to explore that in part of yourself. So that's been amazing.
Just really quickly.
Yes. Oh, right. I'm getting a question from the floor.
No.
From London, England.
Just, did your trailer actually cost $1? For, you know, Hopper's trailer? Did it? Because I'm really curious. I hear it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it did. And we destroyed that thing, too.
Okay.
Yeah, it was $1 from the production team.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm just really curious about that.
You want it?
Huh? Yeah, why not?
Next question.
Hi, I'm Chris from Albany, New York.
Hello, Chris.
So Millie, you're awesome, but this question is actually for David.
No problem. Of course.
So in the scene where Jonathan and Joyce are going through Jonathan's photo, there was a box on the table, and my sister actually has that exact same box. Were there any moments of like nostalgia for you where you saw something that reminded you from your past?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me was like the telephone on the wall in the kitchen with the cord. Like that cord that was like so long and janky and like crusted over with food, and you'd pull it, and like my mom would be on the phone all the time when I was growing up, and she'd like pull that thing across the room, and you'd always trip over it. And, yeah, that phone was, I know, it's trauma. Yeah, that phone was a big one for me. But also, like, there's tons of games on set which you don't even see, just in the background, like Connect 4 and like Simon Says and all these little board games that we used to play too. And then I guess the last big, huge nostalgia factor was I was a big D&D guy. Cleric for life. So, yeah, so why so kids play D&D was like, yeah.
Wait, so you played D&D?
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
You never told me that. See, I don't play that. See, I just don't understand it. But, you know, that's quite cool. What if you were one of the characters in this? Another question on the floor. If you were a character that played D&D, which one would you be?
I'm a cleric. I'm a holy warrior of the light. Book in one hand and like a big mace in the other.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Next question.
All right. Hello. I'm Ryan from New Jersey.
Hi, Ryan.
And this is awesome because honestly, my father was born in '54 and he passed away in 2013. And honestly, you, especially David, I connect to you so much because he was roughly your age when the show was present. I'm sorry, like my mind's running a second. So thank you to both of you for being part of this show. I'm ever grateful to both of you.
Thank you.
So my question for both of you is that I know D&D is a huge part of the show, and I know you're a cleric. I'm a paladin.
Sure, got
it. I'm a little
Go forth, my brother.
Go sword in one hand, shield in the other.
Yes. Smite the evil under.
Is D&D? Can I relate it to like Pokemon? Is it like that? Because I'm a. Is it a Veiler? Thank you. God, okay, everybody's like all the 80s. Sometimes you just need to be present. Okay? It's 2016 and we play Pokemon Go.
What's your question? It's more towards World of Warcraft, and my question for you guys is, post-production, after the show's over, did you guys actually play D&D afterwards? Did you guys actually have like a board game night or something? Did you guys like play Arkham Horror?
If we did, I wasn't invited.
No.
You guys didn't play, did you? No.
No,
We'll do it in season 2.
Maybe
We'll
I
start the whole
always
game.
really like to play it. They play it whilst they were filming, but no. The boys are really like present like me as well. I'm not just the one that's like I'm not anti-80s, but I'm very present. I'm very 2016. So the boys, they play Pokemon with me. It's more Pokemon now than D&D, but I'm sure when they go back filming, they're gonna have to play it again.
Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. I'm from Westchester, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Westchester?
Yeah, White Plains.
Congratulations, David.
White Plains.
Does anybody live in London? Okay, fine.
My question's for Millie. Do you actually like Eggos or?
Okay. I've gone to many Comic-Cons and I've stated the facts. I like them. I do. I do not like how many I eat. You see, the amount I eat is actually really hard to digest. Like, I will have maybe I have a spit bucket, but still, you still have to put it in your mouth, and it does taste really nice, but not 15 times. So, and I like the blueberry flavor.
I will say though that I like every single cigarette I smoke.
Really? Is that stop it? Stop.
next question.
Hi, I'm Amanda from New Jersey.
Amanda from New Jersey.
Amanda!
I have a question for both of you. I was wondering, when you first go on set, who was your first friend you met and hung out with?
Not the Lena. Who?
For me, it was Winona. Yeah, she's amazing. Actually, we met before the project, before you guys came on, actually. Winona and I were the first people sort of on board for the project. And we went out in LA with the Duffer Brothers and me and Winona. And we went to fancy Chateau Marmont, had dinner, which I couldn't get into, by the way. I had to like call them, they wouldn't let me in, but then finally they did.
Why?
But I had because I'm not fancy enough.
No, because you're like, I'm David Harbour.
No, not back then. But anyway, we had like a 5-hour dinner, and I just kind of fell in love with her. Like, I think she's so extraordinary, and so she was like my real friend on set. Like, I just hung with her like a lot.
What was that like though? Because she was of that era. I mean, she was like, she really kind of came up in a big way in the late 80s.
Yeah, so I like Heather.
You're kind of like having first-person contact with an icon.
Oh yeah, I was a fanboy. Like first, like I was like a total fan. Like Heather's was. Greatest movies of that decade, and she's so extraordinary, and she's so cute, and so adorable. So I had a big crush on her, and that still hasn't worn off. But she's also like a lovely, smart, like fiercely intelligent.
Really, she's like a human encyclopedia.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, I had to get over the fanboy crush, but I did become very close with it.
It's sad as sweet to know we actually have. We just had 11 minutes.
Who's your friend, Millie? Who's your
Let's see. Well, obviously I have the boys. But they weren't like my friends, they were like my big brothers, They really annoyed me, but I loved them. But, I think Winona. Again, yeah. Winona is genuinely the funniest person ever. Like, she will sneeze, and I love her sneeze. It's like, choo. And I'm just like, oh, amazing. It's so incredible. But like, we'd go out to dinner and she's just so nice and caring, and she's like a mouse. She eats cheese and crackers, and we sit in her trailer and we talk about movies all day. And it's really incredible because
I think she felt a real kinship to you too, because she was a big star.
Yeah.
She was a young lady as well.
She had short hair.
Yeah.
And she gave me this ring for my birthday, which was the best birthday in the world, wasn't it? My birthday was so good. I had what was my birthday? It was like a cake. It was apple pie? I think it was apple pie. And I mean, come on. Everybody got me a present, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
And then I missed my cue to go on set because I was so excited. I got this ring. I was like, ah! And then I got in the queue, and do you remember we was in the car and I missed my cue? They said action, and you were like, hurry up, Millie, get out the car. And I was like, okay. So that was it was a great birthday. Sorry, I have so many stories. Okay.
One more question.
Hi, I'm Faith. I'm from New Jersey. So one of my favorite parts of the season was actually one of the last moments when Harbour was leaving the waffles out served for 11. So my friends and I started talking about it, and we were considering the idea that hypothetically, if 11 came back next season, him like pseudo-adopting her like a child, what do you think that home dynamic would be like?
Can you tell us everything you know about season 2?
I must tell you a damn thing.
We can't tell you. That's the thing.
I mean, I will say that there would be a rich emotional arc there that I would love to explore. Should it be I mean, look, here's what we end season 1 with. We end season 1 with Harbour actually sort of selling 11 out, right? Not that he doesn't know that she's capable of destroying, groups of people, but he does kind of give her up to go into the Upside Down to save Will. And so I think that, again, this idea of, and this children just being very difficult thing for him. Just being around children being a very difficult thing for him. I think it's a very complex relationship. So should 11 reemerge, I mean, and Hopper knows something about that with that egg of waffles, yeah, I think there's a lot of
It's all very
territory
exciting.
there. Yeah.
You know? We're all very excited.
Yes.
Who's excited for season 2?
We won't say anything. We did get the first couple scripts
We did.
and the arc, and it's insane. I mean, it's
Woo!
insane.
I could read it and I could say, oh, 11's not in it. Or I could read it and say, booking my flight to Atlanta. So I'm not saying anything, but either or, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Well, based on how ridiculously charming y'all are together, I wouldn't mind if it was just the two of you taking a road trip like Paper Moon and you're just talking.
I think 11 should give Hopper a makeover. It's like an 80s makeover montage where we go shopping and stuff. Yeah.
Your Julia Roberts montage.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it would be really fun to be like, Hop,
Yeah.
get me the Coke.
Yeah.
Get me a Coke, you know? Wouldn't that be fun? And 11 would talk.
Now I'm scared.
All positives, guys.
All right, so we're almost out of time. Let's take one more question. Can we do that?
On this side, the last question.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Natalie from Long Island, and my question is, how do you guys feel about how it ended off with Nancy, Steve, and Jonathan?
Dancing, you know? Because I just think Jonathan, like, you know, maybe he might, imagine if Barb, this is just a theory, guys, imagine if Barb came back and Jonathan and Barb were dating. That would be incredible. That would, oh my god, so good. Ryder over here. What do you think?
No, it's one of the great love triangles of the series. I mean, because even when I was watching it, I felt torn. You know, the angsty James Dean type, and then the like popular football kid, but they both were so three-dimensional, because like, you know, Steve winds up being a really good guy, like getting Jonathan a new camera and sort of like being sweet to him at the end. Oh, people don't like that. And then Jonathan can be kind of a jerk. I mean, he's kind of a dark horse, but he also like doesn't treat her so well sometimes, and I don't know. So I don't know who would be better. But it is a great love triangle. There will be more of that, you know, in seasons to come. So
I think my favorite quote is, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about this. Oh, I could not stop laughing. I was and
This is crazy. This is crazy.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah. Oh, my favorite.
Well, thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.